it's Desiree, and we are here now with part 8 of the Card Makers Academy. And in this segment, we are going to talk about stencils. Stencils, I think, fall right into the element as our embossing folders came in as well as something that is growing over time. It's just like everything that I have been showing. You know, we started out with a simple, we'll call it a simple or a basic application, and over the years it has just grown. I also put stencils in the category of our embossing folders as they are something in the beginning that were kind of overlooked. They are a way for us to create our backgrounds, to get texture, to get dimension in little effort. You just need ink and a tool to blend that ink onto your cardstock and the stencil. Now, of course, our blending tools have grown as well. So you can use from the originals that we used to use, are the mini blending tools by Ranger or scrapbook.com, or you can even use your makeup brush, makeup sponges as well. You just get those different effects. Now we all love to use our brushes. So let's go through and see how stencils have grown. Now, just a few statements. Yes, this is probably going to be a long video, maybe not as long. It's going to be, excuse me, a little gabby. So if that's not for you, then this video is not for you. And again, I'm not going to show any completed samples or work with the stencils. That's going to come in a future video where after we go through all of the products, hopefully I hit them all, that we currently have for our card making or paper crafting field, then I'm going to have videos focusing on those specific applications and how you can work with them. So stay tuned for more, because this, the Card Makers Academy, is just going to continue to grow. So stencils come in all different sizes. So let's pull those out first. The basic size is a 6x6 size. Okay, and I'm using my black mat because I think it'll help to see them just a little bit better. Or maybe that gray. No, we're going to go with the black. So a 6x6 size, you can get all kinds of different designs when it comes to stencils. Oh, and I'm going to get one more thing here. Hold on. So you can get many different applications. So there's circles, there's lines, all kinds of different. Now I'm not going to show the different designs that you can have. We're going to talk about size right now. So here is a 6x6 stencil. It's perfect for a card base. As you can see with my Altenew mat here, we have card base sizes and it fits beautifully over that. Now you can use watercolors, gels, inks, texture pastes, anything that you would want to put through this, you can do that. You can also use stencils when it comes to your gel press printing. So there's many ways to use these in your applications. They also come in size. This is a slimline size, but it'll help you build a scene. So this one has many types of applications. This one here happens to have a cloud. This could be water down here. These are lily pads. So you can build a scene with this. And this is like a slimline size. So this will fit a 3.5 by 9, or basically a 4 by 9 type. They also come in small sizes. So these here that are from Simon Says, these are little tiny 3.5 or 3 inch by 3 inch type cubes, just to give you some interest in your backgrounds or on your card panel. And then, of course, Let me move that one out of my way. Now we're going into a size where this one here is just under 6 by 8. But again, you have this beautiful floral design. And then you have these designs here. So a different size, but again, it's still sitting and will be able to cover your card base from edge to edge. And also your top to bottom. So that's something that you want to consider possibly if you're looking to get into stencils. And the wonderful thing about stencils as well is they are at a great price point. So you can do a lot with them. Here are some basic leaf shapes. And again, this is just a different size. This is just over 6 by 7. For a different type of size, but you can certainly put this onto a slim line or again a regular card base. So these are easy to move around and allow you to put your design where you want to put your design. This one here has 3 different stencils on it, but it is a 4 by 9 size. So again, it's good for a regular size card base, but you can also build this up so that it can go onto a slim line. So you can see we have so many different sizes that we can work with. You have circles. So they come in a circle form. So this would create an interesting pattern on your card base. It won't cover from edge to edge, but I like to use these types on my gel press. They do come larger. So this here is actually almost an 8 by 9 size stencil. Let me just tear this up so that you can see that wonderful design. So this would be great on a scrapbook page if that's what you're looking to do. They also come 12 by 12. I just couldn't get to those. So you can really get a very large stencil as well. And then you have another size here. This one is by Altenew. And this measures 5.5 by 1, 2, 3, 4, about 9.5. But again, it can work for both your slim lines and also your regular card bases. These are 1-layer stencils, which means you can add depth with your ink depending upon where you put it, but this is a 1 solid type stencil to give you an image in the background. I love using these because I can put my ink colors down and then I can come in with some colored pencil if I want, or some watercolors to give these images some depth and dimension and make them come to life. We also have in the stencil world what are known as masks. So this is great for when you want to put your card base, put this on top of your card base and then, or paper, and you would spray it, and this will mask the ink from going onto your paper. So you'll get this design that's clear. So if this was a piece of black cardstock and I used white ink over this, wherever those butterflies were after I sprayed would stay black. So these are very useful as well when it comes to the concept of stencils. Now you can also make your own stencils. You can buy this type of film and do your own cutouts, and I'll be showing those to you, the ones that I have made, and I use those for my gel press again. Different sizes here, I keep them on a clip here. These are the Tim Holtz collections, so they look like tags, which I think is absolutely adorable. And they come in a small tag and then of course a larger tag with all of the different designs. Now you can see the designs go from basic to very intricate. It all depends on what type of background you are looking for when it comes to your paper crafting. Slowly then, we came into stencils that helped us to create a scene. So they helped us, this one here helps us create a cloud effect going down on our card base, and we have different views from each of these corners. So we can put our ink up here and then move this down, use the next side, move this down, the next side, and we get this cloud effect for our backgrounds. The other one that's on the other side, now there's many of these. So here you can have water scenes going around your edges. Here, this one can create hills, different types of hills, and then more clouds here as well, and even tiny ones. They got into tiny ones. Before we got into our layering stamps, so to speak, this is a layering stamp, but it can create a scene. So if you have your card base, you would start out by using this. This would have the rays underneath the water. This is an underwater scene. And then you can come in with this one over that to give it more definition for lines. Then your next layer you can put down. You can have your highlight coming from above. And then you can add, excuse me, you can add all of your elements, your seaweed, your coral, and so forth. Of course, you would do your background first, put these in, and then have these stripes coming down. So these I consider not a layering stamp, but rather a scene building stamp. And it all depends. Some come in a set of 4, some come in a set of only 3, but they do have those different elements. Now you can see this is how I store my stencils. I get my pouches and then I keep them in a binder. I'm not sure how great it is. As you can see, I'm fighting just so that I can keep the information on who that is. Then we went into layered. So this is a 2-layer and it creates a design. So you can start out whichever one you want, but you would do your design first with the first one, and then you come in with your second one and just make sure that it's lined up. And you can see that when we do that, it's creating this double image. So you can have one color down for your first one, and then you would remove that and place your second one down, and then that's going to give you, use a different ink, and that's going to give you a different image. But they work together, but they also, as you can see with the designs, they would work very well on their own. So Altenew, when they have stencils like this, you can buy them as a set or you can buy them individually. So you have different abilities when it comes to those stencils that you're looking for. Then stencils kind of really took off, especially recently. And it's the concept of layering and matching to a set. So here I have the stamp set by Altenew called Sparkled. It's beautiful images, nice big floral, but they also have available a mask set. So this does fall into the lines of a stencil, but it's a mask. So here you can see all of these pieces, and basically what this is, positive and negative. So after you stamp your image, you can see if I lay this on top and if I put it the right way, here we go, it actually fits the stamped image perfectly. So after I stamp the outline, I can come in with inks for the base and then add some stamping. And then if I wanted to add another flower next to it, I could pull my stamp, but then put my mask down on top of that one that I just got done stamping, and stamp my other one. So you no longer have to create your own mask out of Post-it. You could actually get a stencil to do that. And you can see we have all of these pieces. And then once that's layered down, you still keep your mask down, and you would be able to put your stencil here, hold it all in place, add your base ink, and then still keeping this in place, add your stamping on top of that. So this set here comes with the positive and the negative for the flower, the leaves, and also the center. So we're getting a little bit further into our stencil levels. And again, they're usually paired up with a set. Then we have the layered stencils. Now we have a stamp set here. It's called the Tranquility Rose, and there is also a simple coloring stencil. We have some masks if we want to use those as well. I'm finding them all here, letting them fall out. So this comes with masks as we stamp. We don't have to create ours. But then we've got all of these stencils here so that we can get that beautiful layered stamping look that Altenew is known for, and other companies do that as well for this image. And they actually, on their stencils, they will have a label system on these stencils onto which one will go first and so forth. So you definitely know this one's first. And again, you would put this down onto your image after you stamp it. Put your first layer down. You'll remove that. You'll come in with the next one, put that down onto your image, and they're very easy to line up. Add your next ink. That's as if you have your second layer stamp, and then you have your final one. Again, very easy to line up. A lot of people find these are easier to line up rather than the stamps. So this is another way for you, if you love those layered stamps, to get your stencil so that you can get that effect that you're looking for. They are available as a set, but you can also buy these separately if you would like. So again, our stencils are stepping it up. They're coming into play when it comes to our paper crafting. Now let me get these. You can see you get leaves and flowers for each of the images when it comes to this set. Now again, for these you have to stamp your image, then come in with the stencils. That's a police officer driving by my house with a siren on. Oh my goodness. So sorry if you heard that. Now Pink Fresh has come out with a way that this is one stamp, one complete stamp, multiple images on that. Let me open this up so that you can see that. This from here to here is one stamp. So you would need a large acrylic block for this, or a large stamp positioning tool. Now, after you're done stamping that, they have developed not only the dies that are one piece that fit on this. Get this off. So all I have to do is turn this over, and because I stamped it, these just automatically line up to the images, and in no time, after I'm done all of my coloring and everything else, I have all of these beautiful images ready to go to add to my card base. What they've also come out with are matching stencils. So here you have your stencil, and again, they have their markings on it. So like here, this one says it is, and you always got to turn these. This is stencil 1. If I take this stencil and place it down onto my stamped area, in this case my stamp, I can easily line this up, just keep twisting it to make sure I see all of those lines perfectly in there. And now I can hold this down and do all my ink blending because I stamped all of that at once. Then I would come in with Stencil 2 and do the same thing. My next layer. I like to put my stencils down first to know what they're covering or what they're exposing as I flip that around there, so that I know what next ink color I should come in with. And again, they labeled them. Here is number 3. And when I put that down, it's going to go right over that image. So you just keep moving it around until you know it is perfectly positioned. And you can now do all of your inking as well. And you can keep going with each of these layers. Again, these are designed to match up to the stamp. You can get your stencils individually. You just would not have your stamped lines also attached to that. And I don't think that's a problem. I think that would give you an absolutely beautiful look when it comes to that set. So really, Pink Fresh has been known to, they create the stamp, they make it all one thing, and then the dies and everything else coordinate with it so that it's almost a way, not going to fight with that on the camera, it's a way for you to do mass production of cards. Think about how many cards you could get when it comes to that one stamp, and then the coordinating die matches, and then, you know, and so forth. It keeps going. Now there's also specialty stencils out there, and I have one type here. These are actually for journaling, and if you like to, you know, doodle, these are by Delusions. Diane Ravely. Yeah, I just chopped that name completely up. But these are specifically created for her bullet journal. They're folded in half. You have 4 different scenes here, but these can be used just as well as your other stamps for your cards. For this one, these come in a pack of 3, and you would get 12 different designs in one shot. So again, they wouldn't cover your entire background, but they would give you just a little bit of texture in the background to add some interest to your cards. Okay, now those are the basics of the stencils. Now I'm going to be right back because I don't have something near me and I want to show it to you. So I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. I always forget something. So here are the stencils that I made. Now, if you have a Cricut or a Scan and Cut, a Brother, you can also make your own stencils as well. Now, you would have to figure that out with your cutting blade and designs and all of that stuff. But I just drew some squiggles and blobs, and then I just cut them out. This is film that I got off of Amazon. It's just plastic film, the same. It's a little thinner than what plastic stencils usually are, but these work really well for my gel press printing. Here, I just took a squiggle with a pair of scissors, and I just wiggled it as I was cutting to get these different size strips so that I can lay across. And again, these would work on my cards like a mask. So I would lay these across my card base, having fun with the size. And then I would just come in with a spray to go over that. And then my ink would be in these areas here. So these definitely can also be used. These here are I call them my loopy loopies. These are technical terms, people. So again, I just took a pair of scissors, started in the center, created a loop, and then just keep wiggled in it as I kept on coming around the edge, and then I came back upon itself to have this. So again, I put that down, and that would give, you know, a different type of design. I have them in different sizes. They do lock on each other, which is awesome. But let's see, there we go. So this one here is really large. This one would be good for a card base. Again, I'm going to get that spiral in the background. So these are masks And that's what you can create on your own. Just create a mask, get your inks, or put a little bit of an ink refill in a little tiny misting bottle, and you can just spray that around to get that effect. Now, again, if you have that Cricut or Brother Scan and Cut, you can definitely, you know, create your own stencil as well for cutouts. I do not know how to do that. That is not something I will be showing. I'm just letting you know now. But I know it can be done. You can also take the time. There's many videos out there where you can make your own stencil if you have a craft knife and you've drawn your own design onto this film. And then you would just take a craft knife to cut that image out, making sure that it's connected in some places so that you're not completely cutting it out. So this one's not as long as the other ones when it comes to our videos, but they are stencils, and that is what we talked about when it came to this. They come in all shapes and sizes. We have different ways of working with them, and it is a good price point if you're looking to add some interest to the backgrounds of your cards. Again, it's just one of those things that I think they're coming back now because of all of the interesting things that you can do them, but I don't want us to forget about those basic stencils. They can do so much for us as well with a lot of the items that we have in our stash. All right, so as always, I hope you enjoyed this. This is part 8, stencils. Part 9, I'm going to prepare you. Part 9 is going to be a long one. We will be talking about our coloring mediums. So you name the coloring medium, and hopefully I have it here, but it will be discussed along with the specific papers that I have found that work best with them. So that one's going to be pretty detailed. So be prepared for that. And then I think after that, we only have embellishments. So I think now, if you guys, for those of you that have been watching this, if you think I'm forgetting something, so you know what part 9 is going to be and you know what part 10 is going to be, let me know and I'll get that added. But I think I covered everything. Oh my God, I hope so. But let me know down below because I'm sure I did. This craft has been growing in leaps and bounds, and it's wonderful. I think it is wonderful, but it can be extremely, extremely overwhelming at the same time. So just remember, keep everything in check and decide what you want to work on and what you want to try. We should always try. Again, all of the products are not going to be listed down below. We all know I'll list some companies where you can shop, but again, if you're in this, you know where you can go to get your supplies at the price point that works for you, whether that's scrapbook.com or Simon Says or going to any of these companies direct. And if you have any questions, make sure you leave those down below and I will make sure I get back to you as soon as I can. I've been doing pretty good with this to keep up to date with that, which I think is wonderful. But remember, enjoy the process. Have fun creating your art. It doesn't matter what you're creating. You are creating art. You may not believe it, but I'm telling you, it's so. If you haven't yet, I'd love for you to subscribe. Make sure you hit that thumbs up because those items help YouTube to push this out, because if you enjoyed this, maybe somebody else would as well. But remember what is most important to me always, and it's not going to change anytime soon. Always be creative, guys. And I will talk to you in the next one. Take care.